Now, so a government is elected, a government nominates its ministers, and the ministers go to parliament to be vetted. Now, during the vetting, we had some of the people from the minority group coming out to say that, well, XYZ ministers are not going to be approved because we've been able to dig into them and we've been able to see that they don't have what it takes to serve as ministers, and so we are not going to support them. Now they go to the floor of parliament and they go and overturn their earlier position, and they fully lend their support. And they are unable to proffer any explanation to the people of Ghana. Fast forward to their unanimous approval of Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta. I don't have a problem with Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta.
Consensus approval. You said unanimous approval. It's consensus approval.
Well, okay. Now, before then, like I said, I don't have a problem with Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta. If you speak to him one-on-one, you realize that he means well. And he has his foot on the pedal. And also, the way he articulates his issues calmly and all that is said that he's able to easily disarm his opponents and all that. But that aside, so the minority before his vetting had made, particularly those who pontificate on the issues of the economy and on finance, they had made all of us to believe that this was a very wicked, callous finance minister who had deliberately engineered the collapse of people's banks just for the purposes of protecting his own data bank. He had done so many things that had run down the public purse, and he's bringing a Japan deal. And they said so many, in fact, they hypnotized so many Ghanaians and into believing that Ken Ofori-Atta was not a political saint at all. So they succeeded in demonizing this man. Now, you demonize the man, and then you also insinuate or hint that because of that, you are not going. And then you go and, yes. So you go and give a consensus approval, and I'm told that it is only Adongo and then late say Okudetwa Ablakwa has resigned. Adongo came out to say, well, I didn't vote and all that. I have a lot of respect for Okudetwa Ablakwa for the decision he's taken, because I'll tell you, Okudetwa Ablakwa was my student, and because of the relationship I have with him, I was able to get into him to find out, look, what is going on. And there were some of the things that he told me that we're not going to do X, Y, Z. And then they turned out to go and do the very things that they said they were not going to do without an explanation and all that. It creates an impression that they are either involved in some form of unholy politics of convenience or something else that we are unable to put a finger on happened, that they themselves are also unable or they don't want to explain, happened to change their mind. And sometimes, if you don't take it, then you send people's mind to what some of them had previously alleged. You remember, at one point in time, one MP alleged that in the course of voting, some of them were compromised and they were given certain things that forced them to vote in a certain way. I'm not saying that this is what happened, but you cannot hypnotize all of us into thinking that, look, Parliament is now going to play its role as a countervailing authority to the executive powers.
Is it?